Secretary of Defense starting day one in the Trump administration. Former Missouri Senator Jim Talent. How are you, Senator Talent?
I'm fine, Kurt. No, I think it should be you. We're going for retired Army officers,
Oh,
so why
God.
not?
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea, Senator. That's a great idea. It's a little
Well, we
early in
would
the
need a
morning
waiver for
it's a
you.
little
We would.
early in the morning to tipple on the port. But Senator Talent, I was just reading your October 30th article in National Review in defense of Trump's national security record. And what struck me is that your journey's been very similar to mine. I was a very straightforward establishment hawk early in the 2000s, and then experience kind of changed and massaged some of my views, and that comes through in your article too. I think a guy like you kind of encapsulates the best of the old school with the lived experience of the last two
Right,
decades.
right. In other words, you got to learn from your mistakes. And the point I
Bingo.
made in that column was that Donald Trump inherited a national security situation in the country where the United States had been significantly weakened by disaster after disaster in the
Yes.
20 years before he took over, and he turned it around. I mean, he was the best foreign policy president since Reagan. And, if Joe Biden wants unity, the first question I'd ask him is, are you going to go back to the failed policies of the past? Are you going to accept the fact that on China, in the Middle
I know.
East, with regard to the strength of the armed forces, and with regard to using, the tools, the civilian elements of national power, rather than fighting wars all the time, Donald Trump was right, and he made the country safer and stronger without war.
Well,
Or are you going to appoint Bob Iger
ugh.
as ambassador to China? I don't know if you saw that story. They're
Oh
thinking about doing
gosh.
that. Well,
Well, that's
we're facilitating China again. I mean,
it,
have we not learned that
I,
this was a huge mistake? Donald Trump dragged our foreign policy into the 21st century. And I want to see Joe Biden say, look, there was a lot Donald Trump did in national security that really benefited the country. That would be a step towards unity.
well, Senator Talent, I'm not sure that that's the criteria that a Biden asterisk administration will use. What's best for America? I think their calculation is what's better for my social class, the kind of people who I spend time with, the people who own corporations, the big tech lords, the people who write checks to get me elected, asterisk. Um, and I think Donald Trump's America First policy was really about what's best for the typical American. And I think there's an understanding there that if you're going to send Americans into harm's way, you should be able to articulate the reason. As you pointed out in your National Review article, something like Libya. What was what was worth the life of one? You remember the Balkans aren't worth the life of a single Pomeranian grenadier. Well, what about the life of a single American paratrooper in Libya? I don't see it.
Well, you're exactly right. And look, if we care about the prospect for freedom and human rights and peace in the world, the United States has to be strong. The American people need to be safe. Putting America first is putting freedom and democracy first. By tying American foreign policy to American interests, Trump made our policy rational. He made us a reliable partner for countries like the Gulf states. I mean, look, the Biden administration had made a partnership with Iran the basis of our Middle Eastern policy. And these are the questions we have to ask his appointees in the confirmation process. Are you going to go back to that? I mean, because if you are, no, there's not going to be any unity. And to me, I mean, the one, my big regret, I have a lot of regrets about the election, Kurt. I wish we had talked more about what the president actually accomplished in both domestic and foreign policy, because I think he would have won.
Well, that would have been nice, but of course we were fighting a media that's no longer the media we knew.
Absolutely.
It's rather a propaganda tool, of the national, the elements of national power, DIME. That's the I, and I think it's very troubling that the messages of our enemies and adversaries are being echoed by significant portions of American society. It's very troubling. We have about 30 seconds, Senator Talent. My question is, do you think there's any chance, hopefully we win in Georgia, that we'll be able to force the Biden administration to continue the Trump policy of putting American interests first?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult because the president constitutionally has control over foreign policy. So I think what we have to do is make the arguments very, very strongly and put them in a position where they look so ridiculous if they try and go back to the old policies that they have to continue it in one form or another. But Kurt, I'm concerned, even if they do inform, that there won't be any energy or muscle behind it. I mean, we'll go back to the listlessness of the Obama-Biden years. I mean,
Well,
look, I can't say I'm hopeful, but we have to do the best we can.
well, you'll find no energy from a President Biden asterisk, but you will find energy here on the Hugh Hewitt radio program. I'm guest host Kurt Schlichter. Stick around.